Corona day. I don't even know what day is it.
What are they don't matter to me anymore.
I think we're into weeks now.
All right. So Ant, this was obviously pretty impromptu. You know. So Brandon, just to give you a quick recap, obviously we did the CuePoints podcast for a while. And we've been wanting to bring it back. Ant's been super hyped about it. And I was like on the fence. I was like, it'd be cool. We just got to make sure, you know, we keep up with the content and everything like that. And obviously this coronavirus came. And so that wasn't even on my radar. But the last couple of days, I've slowly been getting angrier and angrier with people. And so I couldn't take it anymore today. And just from seeing what people are posting and stuff like that. And I think the big thing with me is there's a difference between being practical and wanting to save the world. And I believe there's a hard line in between that you can really find. And I feel like everyone, for the most part, that isn't an entrepreneur doesn't know how to put themselves in those shoes, which is understandable because you don't know the other side. What I try to do always, and I've tried to instill this with Anthony, is, you know, when Anthony first came on, I said, I always want you to look at things as the employee and the employer. You know, because he would start seeing, you know, invoices. So why are we paying a DJ X, but we're making all this money on Y?
Right.
Because it's not about I'm paying a DJ $300 and I'm making $1,000. That's not how it works.
It's look what's behind you right now.
Right. Yeah, I'm at the warehouse, kind of,
Exactly.
as my hat just evaporated. So I've just been seeing a lot of people posting how, literally saying, the economy doesn't matter. We need to shut down for as long as it takes. Now, I want to get into your thoughts on this and Anthony's thoughts on this, but to me, it's very simple. You can't save the world today and not have a world tomorrow. So if you shut everything down, 6 months, 8 months, a year, there's not going to be much to come back to. And I think that's the problem is when people hear, oh, you're in business, they think of like the Waltons and they think of, you know, Google and Amazon. They don't understand how much of the economy is driven by small businesses.
Yep.
Between, you know, 2 and 50 employees, because 50 employees is technically considered a small business.
Yeah.
It still is. So what have you guys heard? Because this is where I'm at with people just not understanding how detrimental this entire thing is become to not only the event industry, but basically every small business from the, you know, hair salon, barbershop, and, you know, anything. What about you guys?
Well, I mean, so I'm trying to stay positive through the whole situation, and optimistic and stuff, but I haven't heard much of what you're talking about in terms of people actually looking to like shut everything down, from a standpoint of what's going on. That is, I feel like one of the only solutions is to kind of really shut everything down. I don't think it needs to be that long. I think with the medical facts and stuff that are out there, a few weeks sounds like it could get it out of here and under control. And otherwise, I feel like all we're doing is slowing it down, and then it's really going to be around for a while, and we're not going to have events for a year or whatever. But this isn't just about obviously us and the industry and our industry. It's the economy and business. And I think no matter what way this situation is handled, it's going to hurt the economy to some extent.
Absolutely.
You know, and obviously some methods are going to hurt it more than others. So I see what you're saying. You can't physically shut everything down because you won't have what's here today, tomorrow. A lot of businesses, especially small businesses and stuff too, rely on being open to, you know, pay their bills. So,
Ant, what have you seen? I mean, because we haven't really seen each other. So
that's along the lines of what I wanted to talk about is, you know, this virus is really serious. Like it's not as light as we may have thought it was in the beginning. You know, the numbers are going up constantly. So yes, I mean, it sucks being out of work, and it sucks for like business owners like you and Brandon, and I think we just have to do whatever it takes to get this thing under control.
I agree. No, I know. I absolutely agree. We need to take this seriously because statistically right now, the average flu, this is about 3 times as strong. But see, there's a lot of things that bother me, and I feel like it's a lot of media drive. Okay? The flu kills 30,000 people a year in this country. 30,000. Now, we're roughly above 600 people right now, which that's terrible. I don't want anyone to die. But I want to know, why did we pick this one? Why in 2009, when H1N1 came out, we did not declare a national emergency until 12,000 Americans were dead?
Yeah, swine flu and everything like that. I agree.
These are the things that bother me. And it's not so much a fact of that I don't think we should close everything. The problem is it's not feasible that you can keep 350 million people in their houses at all times. Because, again, you're going to have to open, the social distancing thing, people, first of all, aren't listening, which is a huge problem. So that's going to make it draw on even longer. And also, they're saying it's kind of contradicting itself. So they're saying stay home, but then they're also saying go out and exercise. They're saying don't go to work, but they're making the New York State parks free to go to. I went on a bike ride yesterday to Belmont State Park in North Babylon. I haven't seen that many people in the park since like one of our major 5Ks that we do.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not, believe me, they weren't 6 feet apart. You couldn't even get down the trail on a bike. So it's just, there's so many things that are contradicting themselves, and it doesn't make sense to me. But my biggest thing is like, for a fact, like Anthony, you're out of work right now. And like, that's my responsibility. I just don't think that, the general public understands what really goes into the economy when you get down to it. Consider restaurants for a moment. Most restaurants have a 16-day cushion of they don't make any money. And then they can really stretch it to 30 days. That's a majority of restaurants. That's considered basically what they can spare.
Like franchises or?
No, restaurants in general. It's usually a 16 to 30 day cushion where they say, all right, we're just going to have a crap month. We're not going to make any money. Because don't forget, they're running on thin margins. Their rents are atrocious. It's just, I don't want to come back to a world where, forget the business owners and we're not making any money. What about all the people we employ? What are we going to have, 65% unemployment? The only people that are going to make any money are the teachers, the unions, and the government. That's it. Yeah. What are all the rest of the people? This is my problem, where it's, the unknown, it can't be unknown. You can't say, well, we're going to open when we think it's good. You can't build a plan around that.
I don't think
you can't really plan for a pandemic.
I don't think there could be a specific, like a timeline on it.
Well, right now,
because no one really knows.
Well, right now, the president said he wants to have the country open by Easter, which gives us about 3 weeks. Now, if that happens or not, we'll see. A lot of people, do want, to open it because obviously what we're saying about the economy. But again, could it spread? We don't know. There's a lot, and also it's going up. Like I know you had said that it's going up drastically every day. That's not necessarily because it's spreading. That's because we're testing.
No, yeah, that's the testing too. But
we're starting to really test now.
But it is also spreading because, like you said, not a lot of people are following the social distancing thing.
Right, and I also have friends in the medical field, and again, I try to look at everything from all perspectives. And the biggest thing that concerns me is they're literally operating without supplies. Like they don't have gloves, they don't have masks, they don't have gowns. Like, it's a crazy time right now. And I'm just, who the hell wants to party? That's all I got. That's all I can say.
That's why everybody is doing the live streams and everything.
Yeah. Brandon, tell me about what you're doing, man, with your Ari and friends and all that.
Yeah, well, I just started that. I mean, I'm just trying to stay busy. But the thing behind that, obviously, I have the YouTube channel where I do a lot of educational whatever and like informative type unboxing stuff like that. And the videos are good, but my whole thing with this situation is obviously it sucks. It's serious, blah, blah, blah. I put up another video I think I put it in the Long Island DJs group, but I put it in the other DJ groups too. Very raw video, just like, listen, take this time and take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
While we are slower and put the time into your business and stuff like that. So because of that, to kind of not contradict myself, I wanted to adjust my focus on putting out videos to podcasts and audio, because when you're watching YouTube videos, you can't really do anything else. You're watching YouTube videos. It becomes an entertainment thing. It's like watching Netflix and TV. Yep. And my whole thing is, yes, we have to have fun, relax and whatever, and play some video games and whatever. But I think in audio podcasts, it's a lot easier to listen to.
Absolutely.
While you're working on something else. You could easily be, editing photos or working on your website or whatever, working on contracts, whatever, and just have a podcast going at the back, and you're still learning and listening, but you're actually getting work done too. And you're not losing hours on end by watching videos,
Now you sound super positive and everything like that, but I want to ask you honestly, when this first started and it got to the point where it was like, shit, this is real, and it started affecting business, how did you take it? Because, you made a lot of super amazing upgrades in the past 18 months between trussing and new equipment, the awesome new facility you have. That's not cheap. So
it's not.
How did you take it?
So it hasn't hit me yet. I don't think it will hit me, to be honest, unless it's for some reason really
this guy's Iron Man.
More than like 6 months. It obviously it sucks and it hurts and everything like that. But I've always been kind of positive about everything, trying to pull the best out of it. So I look at it as I'm getting a lot of stuff done right now that I've been wanting to get done. I just haven't had the time, or it wasn't of importance when I was worrying about events that were happening this week.
And that's not something you're just telling yourself. That's how you really feel.
No, that's how I really feel, And so I'm taking advantage of it and trying to make the business better, because honestly, I'm pumped for the end of the summer and the fall. I am super excited because all my events for these 2 months,
amazing.
But I mean, listen, all your events for these 2 months were postponed. Most of them, some were canceled, school, whatever, are canceled, but most events, weddings, Sweet 16, stuff like that, is just going to be postponed. They're still going to book and still have their event. So for me, all those dates are happening the end of the summer and then the fall. And we're already busy in the end of the summer and the fall.
Right.
So now we're doubling up and we're getting super busy. I mean, I'm excited for this
and
busy
I think
time that's coming up.
I think that's where we have the biggest difference is that, as I would say our business is a majority, I would say about 60 to 65% corporate, universities, et cetera. So for me, when I have these large contracts with these universities and I get email after email saying we're done for the semester, that money's gone. They're not postponing. They're going to do the spring concert, but now they're doing it for 2021. So the money's gone. So for me, it wasn't the weddings. It wasn't the Sweet 16s, the mitzvahs that said, hey, we're going to do it. We just don't know when. Fine. I have your deposit. I have the money. It's the money that went gone so quickly. I would, and between that and also, I invest. So in a matter of like, and no bullshit, in a matter of like 3 to 4 days, I was out well over $100,000 in income. And I mean, I can be fully transparent, man. I was in a dark place. I mean, I think that first Tuesday, like I didn't even get out of bed to do what? I got to tell my manager I can't have him work anymore, until further notice. For me, it was rough, and then I had some good days. I had some bad days, and, we're getting through it now. I think what it was for me is that I had such a huge Band-Aid ripped off in the beginning that now I'm starting to, be more, all the damage is done at this point, because, we have a prime season. I know there's prime wedding season, all this stuff, but one of my best seasons is like March and April. Like we do a massive amount of stuff in March and April between spring semester and casinos. So I have a lot of events where they're just like, we're just going to do it next year. We're just canceling for the year. So, and we invested a crap ton this year. We bought our 7th truck. You know what I mean? So
no, I totally get it and understand.
Yeah.
I don't want you to, you know, I
Oh,
totally
no.
understand the
Believe me,
situation and
dude.
stuff too.
It's almost like, for me, it's almost like I expect you to be like that, just because that's like the killer that you are in this. But I'm like,
I
God
appreciate
damn,
that.
man.
But like,
God
I mean,
damn.
so listen, like I don't know. That's what I have in me personally. Like, I get, it sounds weird, but I get enjoyment out of failing. Like, as an entrepreneur,
Gary
I
Vaynerchuk
like,
Jr. over here. I swear to God. You are
Gary
literally,
V.
you
he's
are
awesome too,
Brandon
but
V.
like, but you know, listen, like I enjoy failing because that allows me to come back even stronger. And like the thing I shared from him actually the other night, on Facebook about, you know, failing now and then coming back 55 times stronger. Like
Right.
I truly believe in that. Like, I think that's how it's going to happen. And I think by going through this time now, everyone who makes it through this is going to come out even stronger, because now we're going to be able to, I don't want to use the word prepare, because I know people like flipped out in some of the groups about that, on how you can't prepare for this and stuff. And I
Right.
mean, the truth of it is you can't prepare for this exact situation.
No, you
but
can't.
You can prepare your business for similar things.
Absolutely.
And have some money saved up. You should be able to cover
Well,
rent and
that's the
expenses
biggest
for a
thing
little
is
bit, you know?
savings, man. I mean, you know, a lot of these businesses, they don't have 6 months of rainy day fund.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And again, some people might totally hate me for this, and that's okay too. But I just finished up another podcast with Mike Petritis, which is he does website and SEO and stuff, and this came up in that too. And it was like, if you are running your business gig by gig, it's more of a hobby, to be
I was gonna
honest.
say, you're not a business.
It's not a business. If you can't cover your rent and expenses for a little while,
Right.
if you have to wait to cash a check from a client to pay your staff, I don't know. It's not
You
a
need to
business to me.
change the
That's
way
a
you're
hobby.
doing things. I
You know,
agree.
Yeah, I
that's
agree.
a hobby.
Yeah.
You're doing that on the side.
And
Because
what's
if
your
you're running a
takeaway from all
business, you
this so
understand
far?
everything else, you know.
I mean, as far as me, like, I'm not a business owner. Like, I do have my own business, but
Mhm.
I'm on the basis that Brandon just said, on a gig by gig
Mhm.
like basis. So as primarily more of an employee, um, it is scary. I mean, I, I think you did a good job of sort of making a safety cushion,
Mhm.
because we're not going to lose the warehouse. We're
Right.
not losing the trucks.
Right.
You were smart as to how you were dealing with everything. It's just a matter of being able to get the events back and everything like that.
And the funny thing is, when January hit, I made a giant list with Anthony of all the stuff that we really, really wanted to get done. And it was things from like last year, it was things from the summer, it was just this giant list of things. And we literally banged it out in like the first 2 weeks of I mean, we got so much done. Backup cameras on all the trucks, new things built in the studio. Like, there was just so many things done. So then when it came to like 2 weeks ago, where I know like I got to keep him busy because there's no events to prepare for, it's like, damn, the list is so small at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and also, I can only bleed for so long before I got to, cork it. So, it's just wild. So, we got our, warehouse shoot done that we wanted to get done. We got the things that we wanted to get done. Now I'm trying to do things on my end. We're working on a brand new catalog. I'm trying to work on I'm not really doing a lot of advertising because, again, I'm not going to, I know you have a good way of doing it, Brandon. I like the way you're doing it, as like, you're just kind of talking about your brand in general. You're not going, think of us for your Sweet 16, because like, hey, I'm worried about grandma not getting the coronavirus right now. So like, screw you and my Sweet 16. It's not, it's not what's important right now, but it will be. So
Right.
by you instilling that little seed in the back of their head, like, wow, they're really cool. They're
like,
good content.
don't forget about us. We'll still be here when this is all over. But
Well, listen, that's like to sidetrack with marketing. I mean, that's how I see all of marketing in general. And I don't think that's my opinion or anything. I think that's like a fact on what marketing is really about, and what it should be about is about the long-term, how people see your brand and people thinking of your brand 3, 5, 10 years from now.
Exactly.
Not in a day-to-day transaction. And
Right.
I see it more in the DJ industry more than anything, more than restaurants and stuff like that. But I think a lot of the DJ side, when they make Facebook posts or social media posts, they're looking for an instant return on investment.
Yep.
They're posting, check out our new photo booth, call us today and book it, blah, blah, blah. And they're looking to book 2 photo booths from that. Guess what?
Right.
It's not going to happen. If it does, you got lucky, whatever, but that's not the point of it. And the point of marketing and everything is to build up a brand and get brand recognition. So that 5-10 years from now, you're getting calls just because of the brand you've built.
Right.
I mean, when you go buy Nikes, you're not buying Nikes because they're the best sneaker ever.
Right.
You're buying Nike because it's the Nike swoosh, you know?
Well, that's like, I know probably Ant probably agrees with me. And if he doesn't, he could say differently. But like, when I think of Red Max, I think of that giant ass heart you built out of the freaking truss or this damn swing thing.
Right.
Forget that it's a photo booth. The freaking swing on truss. It's just cool.
Well, I appreciate that.
So
it's the unique things.
You know, you just build the most wild crap, and it's just
I appreciate
and
that,
it's not crap. You know, it's just wild. But that's a brand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what you guys do.
To push on it too. I mean, like, honestly, I don't know when the last time I used an exclamation mark in one of my Facebook posts on my business profile. I don't know when. Maybe I slipped one in there. I don't know, but I don't use that because for me, marketing is more of a like getting content out there. Hey, look, this is what we do. This is what we're doing.
Right.
This is our brand. If you happen to have an event, just remember us. That's all, and call us and see if we could help. You know, I'm not trying to book every job. I'm not trying to get every client. I'm not trying
I feel like you almost take you take the path of like a networker. Like, it's like, listen, you don't got to think of me now. I just want to get to know you. So in the back of your head, when you're talking to your friend across the fence and they say, yeah, I'm getting ready for, my daughter's communion. Oh, I know this guy, Brandon. He does some good stuff.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I mean, I'm not, like I'm not worried about my bank account today or tomorrow or next week. I'm worried.
That's pretty amazing to say, man, because you got a lot going on.
I appreciate
and you got a
that,
decent overhead. So that's
and
impressive.
I do. And I think I do have to think about it to an extent, to a certain extent, like you said, because we do have to be able to cover ourselves for, some time. And I'm not saying financials aren't important, but I'm not, in a sense of like, I'm not worried about going out and being able to buy a Lamborghini tomorrow with my bank account. I don't care about that stuff right now. I'm caring about the business and the brand for a while from now. And to bring
I think
Gary
I also
Vee back
have to say, because I know we'll get a lot of crap about it, is all 3 of us don't have a mortgage, we don't have a wife, and we have no kids that I know of.
You know what? And to piggyback off of that, somebody the other day called me lucky, and that like pissed me off, and I made a video on it because they were using lucky to describe what you just described. Right. And I said, there's nothing about me that's luck. I was like, I just work really freaking hard.
Yeah,
for
no.
it,
you put everything
It makes me so annoyed that people just, they're so easy to quickly throw out words like that to try to like tear somebody down that works really hard.
And it's like, well, look, I'm taking advantage of the fact that, I have no mortgage, I have no whatever.
Why should that be held against you?
Exactly. And the other thing is, then people are saying in a situation like this, they're saying, well, listen, like, you're okay because all your savings has to pay for is your warehouse, your rent, your overhead, whatever. You're not paying for family and food and blah, blah, blah. And I said, that's true. But listen, if I was in those shoes and I did have to pay for that stuff, my savings would be higher. Right?
Exactly.
I mean,
it's just, when people say that, they're normally at least 10 to 15 years older than you. And they're just mad they didn't make certain moves. If they're in a position, and listen, there's a lot of people out of work right now. A lot of people out of work. And some of their spouses are also out of work. And they got kids and they got health insurance. No one could have expected this to happen. Mm-hmm. And, even when the first indication to me was when the sports teams all started shutting down. Because that's a private industry losing millions and millions of dollars. That was my first indication, like, all right, this is actually going to become something that is really going to affect day-to-day life. And the first thing to go is going to be events. The first thing they're going to say is don't gather together. That's going to be the first thing.
Those are the gatherings that they banned, right off the bat. So
I don't believe that we're lucky at the ages that we're at. I just think we're better prepared. So many people say, man, if I was doing things the way I was doing them at your age, I don't know what I'd be. Well, you'd probably be where I am and probably where I'm going to be in 10 years. I said the same crap about you, Brandon. I said, Jesus, I remember what I did at 20, and I thought I was killing it. Jeez. Not even close. But there's always a bigger fish, and there's always a smaller fish. And if you're worried about being the biggest guy in the room, you're always not going to be the biggest guy in the room. Biggest guy in the room doesn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Right.
He just does his thing.
Exactly.
And especially now, it's like, man, you got to have a real ego. And I mean, think of the, what we're in as far as the industry we're in, to have to go down to that level.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have a bigger bank account. No, I have it worse.
Yeah.
The whole world is in this crisis.
And that's why I like feel bad for these people who like have to hate and have to say things like that. And like, if you have to analyze somebody else's business and like hate on it because it's whatever it is better than yours or whatever, like I feel bad for you, because take that time and put it into your business.
Yeah.
Like, and then maybe you'll be there,
I think it's human nature that, it's just jealousy. I mean, Ant, is there anything positive you think you're going to take away from this whole debacle?
Absolutely.
Like what?
Like as far as my own business?
Yeah, just in general, like things that you're sitting at home now, you're being like, wow, I should have done that. Or, gee, what could I have done to be in a better position than I am today?
For starters, I should have made a much larger safety cushion, because within the first month I ran out. So
to be fair,
I definitely need to work on.
It's not easy. It takes a lot of. I would say, for me, best way to build a safety cushion is if you make $1,000 a month, you need to have it automated where it takes out 200 of that.
And you don't see it.
And it's like you don't make 1,000 a month. You make 800, and you need to live off that 800 because now in a year you have $2,400 saved up.
It also has to be a realistic number that you can.
And that's just an example. Mm-hmm. So it could be anything, but it's a good thing to try to save at least 10%. And don't forget, Ant, you do have savings here at Enjoyable Entertainment. We do offer 401k.
Yeah.
Little disclaimer right there.
They're there.
So
I just
do have savings.
Don't want to tap into them yet.
No, but again, you do have a fund. Maybe not for this, but in the long term, you've been putting money away. You just haven't seen it because it comes out before it goes to your paycheck. So You've been doing the right thing. It's just not in a fund you're going to use today or tomorrow. And again, it can't be a certain number because it's going to be different for everyone. Everyone has different expenses, but people don't save. It's just most people that I know that live on Long Island live paycheck to paycheck. And I would say a lot of them choose to be that way. And I know you're going to say, how do they choose to be that way? Well, what are they driving? What kind of car are they driving? Are they driving a beat up 99 Monte Carlo? Or are they driving?
There's a lot of BMWs out there.
Or are they driving a BMW that they shouldn't be affording? So it's just, what are they drinking? They're drinking a Starbucks coffee that was $5 that they get 5 times a week, and now they just spent $100 that they could have been saving. And again, it's not penny pinching, but you do this, you can save so much money. The first thing I had Anthony do on one of his last days at the warehouse was I said, Ant, we're taking half of the fleet off the road. We're clearly not going to need them. Let's go save some money. Well, like I said, cork the bleeding, and we're saving $600 a month. That's a lot of money. That's part of the rent. That's part of the insurance. We keep the trucks right behind me, so it's not like they're in the street. So it's fine. You like that, right? So that's my feeling on the savings part.
And I'm going to do the same thing with. I have 2 of my own personal vehicles, so I'm going to take one off the road, so I don't have to pay that extra insurance.
But I think that might. I hope that if there's one thing people learn from this, it's going to be to save their money. You don't need to save every dollar. You should have fun, but save some damn money, because you know what? This could happen again. And you can't wait for the government to bail you out. And if they're going to give us, I know the package came out last night, it still has to go to the House. But if
I think it's like $1,200 or something like that, yeah.
don't get me wrong, that's going to help a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But you tell me a family of 4, even if they get $3,000, decent amount of money, because if you multiply it by the whole country, take in the mortgage, even if they freeze it, fine. Groceries, gas, electric, it's gone real quick. You can't rely on that unless we're going to become a socialist nation, and I doubt that Bernie Sanders has any chance. So I think that we're going to be fine. So anyway, any last remarks? Because I'm pretty sure Zoom might kick us out pretty soon.
It just I got an update on my screen. I don't know if you did. That said we had unlimited minutes.
Yeah, that's what I saw too.
It
Yeah.
said the host upgraded.
We'll keep going then.
So we're good.
It said
All right.
it said you
Thank you.
upgraded.
I appreciate you. Well, Brian, we were actually
just
talking
charged your
earlier. Ant and I were talking earlier, and it's like, first of all, I love this Zoom thing. I just started using it,
Mhm.
but it's like $50 if you want to pay for it a month or whatever. Even if I get like a month or two, just to try this out during this whole thing, you can do a webinar, and we could actually like put this in like the community pages and actually get like 20
live,
30
yeah.
people, and you could do like a board.
Right.
And all I want to do, my kind of idea with this, because I told Anthony again, no one to do the podcast. Forget the podcast for right now with what we were doing, because no one cares right now what type of speakers to buy. No one cares about what's the best song to start the anything with. They care about, I'm in a hole. It's good to know there's other people around me. Maybe I can get an idea of how I can better myself out of this.
Right.
Because a lot of people, they're going to sit inside. Chip sales and Oreo sales are up 30%. I was a big contributor of that week 1. Since then, I've put the Oreos aside. Okay? Chips, not so much, but we're fine.
I know that's what I was saying. I'm trying to find things to keep me distracted from eating.
Well, that was the biggest thing was I went out and I cleaned my bike up, and I've been riding every day. I also a little tired right now because actually for the first time in a long time, I have a background in television. I went back. I had gotten a call last week that they were looking for a director at one of my old stations. So I've been doing like a 4 a.m. to 11 a.m. director's position. So do I want to do it? No. I'm making the money I'm making now, although I'm blessed to be making it. I used to get a call on a Wednesday. Hey, you have a photo booth for Friday? Awesome. I just made more money than I made in a week. So, depending on what it is. But it's not about that. The biggest thing is, in an egocentric world, you have to fight your ego. Like, for me, it was difficult. I'm not going to lie. I'm not that type of person. But, like, I'm going back to a place I worked at 5 years ago. So it seems like a step back, but it's really a gift because there's no income right now. There will be another day. But for now, we have to do what we have to do to keep the doors open and keep the lights on. So,
and I want to piggyback off that and kind of hear your take too, because I know you mentioned briefly about not marketing or advertising right now too. And I've been speaking to a lot of people about that. Like right now, because of everyone being stuck home, all they're doing is scrolling through Facebook and Instagram. The percentages out there, people are on 30 to 60% more than usual on Facebook and Instagram. So take advantage of it. And the other thing is, a lot of companies, the first place they pull money from when something like this happens and they have no income is advertising.
Right.
So because of that, so many people pulled from advertising that Facebook and Instagram's cost per click is so low right now.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It is so
That's
cheap.
the first thing to go.
So it's like, take advantage right now of the advertising. $1 a day, $2 a day on Facebook.
I like that. I mean,
take advantage of it.
I'm
Get
not
your
the
stuff in
biggest
front of people.
advertiser. I never have been, but I think that today it doesn't matter as much when you're making these ads and whatnot. I don't think it's tough to put a picture of a photo booth and say rent our photo booth. It's got to be creative.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have,
and
so
unique
if you're,
too.
And I think as the business owner myself, the best lesson I ever learned was I need to know what I'm good at and I need to know what I'm not good at. And I'm not, sometimes I think of awesome content, but that's not what I do. So maybe I make 20% of the content But that's why I have a great team of people that I can piggyback off of. You know, like Ant will be at an event and he'll go live on Instagram and he'll post these awesome things. I'm like, that was awesome. Like, that was different. It's engaging. You know, you need to know what your strengths are. And I think there's the two biggest laws for me as far as, you know, being an entrepreneur is, like I said, one, knowing your strengths and knowing where your weaknesses are to get someone who you can rely on that's their strength. And the second thing is you can't work, and everyone says it, but it's true. You can't work in your business. You need to work on your business. So Ant thought it was hilarious that and this is no joke, but I think I DJ'd twice this year, Ant. What do you think? In like 2019, I probably
maybe
DJ'd twice.
1.5 times maybe.
Yeah. So because there were so many times where I could have been like, I could take the gig, but no, I'd rather give it to the guys and let me do what I do and put food on the table for everyone else, because that's my job. That's the difference between being a part-time person running a gig-to-gig operation and running a full-fledged business. You need to be able to feed the whole table. But I think advertising right now, if you have the means to do it.
Well, so to piggyback off that too, because I'm glad you said the means to do it and not the money to do it, because a lot of people are like, oh, like I can't spend the money on that or whatever. It's like, okay, so I don't want you to put yourself in a bad spot financially. Don't spend the money on it then, but spend the time on it.
Build the content.
Still, you know, focus, watch YouTube videos and watch ways to advertise on Google AdWords so that maybe when money does start coming in, you know what to do.
If you complain right now about not knowing Photoshop and not being able to make graphics, and in 3 months you're still complaining about it, I want to know what you did during this.
Seriously. Right now, they played Xbox. That's it. And watched Netflix, and you know.
There's so many. YouTube is so amazing, right, Ed? You tell me. How great is it?
Right now is the perfect time to educate yourself, whether it be in your industry, like watching the product videos, reviews, or gig logs, what have you, or just general things that you can use for your business, like the SEO and making graphics and building websites. You have all the time in the world right now. I said that to my brother the other day. Right now, you have all the time in the world. Get the stuff done that, you haven't.
We wish that we had more time, but then we have more time and we don't know what to do with it.
Well, because listen, and it comes down to, like you were saying before, working on the business, and it comes to priority too, because when we're running the business and we have these events every weekend and stuff, at least for me, we do a lot with like custom graphics, and there's a lot of like last minute stuff to worry about in terms of getting graphics printed and getting them approved and then sizing them out and like, oh my God, this doesn't fit. We have to reprint it. Whatever the case is, there's a lot going on that's like very important day to day to make sure that those events that weekend go off without a hitch. So learning Photoshop and learning things like that aren't that important, you know? And then what happens is now I've got this time and now I want to learn all that stuff because I know I'm not going to have time once things pick back up.
Right.
And then we're going to be even busier when things pick back up because all of our events that were canceled now are going to be at that same time, you know? And to piggyback off the marketing thing too, I've never really done a lot of email marketing until more recently. And I saw a post in one of the DJ groups and they were like, oh, since now's not a good time to do email marketing, what are you guys doing? And blah, blah, blah. And I jumped on there and then a few other people piggybacked on it too. And I was like, why, who's telling you right now is not a good time to do email marketing? Now is the best time. Just like social media and stuff. I think social media is better because people
are how you approach
social media, but people are at home right now. So if their phone vibrates and they get an email, they're more likely to click it and read it than when they're living their day-to-day life and busy on their way to work and an email comes in, they're not going to open it.
I just think that right now, as long as you approach it in less of a sales type of way, and more like, we're here, just so you know, this is the cool stuff we do, rather than get our photo booth today for $5.99. That's right, $5.99. It will come with an attendant and unlimited prints.
That's it, you know. And I just sent out an email blast on our photo booths, and it wasn't a, hey, buy now. It was a, hey, look, this is what we offer. We offer a wide variety of photo booths. Choose your experience. These are the cool perks. Here's our swing booth. Here's this. Here's some of the stuff we've been doing. I sent that out, and I got 2 clients that came back to me. They replied to that email blast and said, hey, I don't think we got you the date for our event. One was a holiday party in December and one's in the fall. And so now we just event $2, and I didn't sell that. I didn't push it, you know, but it reminded them, because if they had
you're not selling, you're reminding.
Right. And
Yeah.
if they hadn't gotten that email, they wouldn't have called me till the fall.
Exactly.
And to piggyback off of that too is you were saying not to sell $5.99, whatever, but I think if you are hurting financially and you really need that extra income now, you probably could advertise in that sense, and
You might be able to.
not say book our photo booth for $5.99, but say, hey, listen, we understand the situation's bad. We hope everyone's, doing okay, blah, blah, blah. Like, explain your sympathy, show that you're a real person behind it, not
Right.
just a brand. And then come back with, we're offering a discount if you pay the deposit now, if you pay half up front or whatever. And
I have seen some people do that where they're like, listen,
Right.
we're all in the same boat together. We're here for you. So right now we're doing 20% off. And I think if you approach it in that way, I don't have a problem with that. I don't think that's a bad thing at all.
And even explain the realism too. Like, I had a few clients that were pending that we reached back out to, and I said, hey, listen, like, with the current situation, whatever, if we can get you to book and pay a deposit now, I'll take X amount of percentage off, and explain the realism behind it, that we're small businesses and we rely on deposits and day-to-day cash flow and stuff, and these jobs to pay bills too. And then that can help you bring in, more money now too.
I totally 100% agree. And Stan, are you with us?
Yes.
That doesn't
Hear
sound
him.
too sure. Are you
Can you
there?
hear me?
Are you coming in live and in stereo?
Yeah, I'm here, but my
What's-
internet's
Your internet's not too good. Yeah, you're freezing up, man. But
my internet's not doing too great right now.
How you doing with the corona, man?
I'm here. I'm
Corona
here.
with lime.
You all right? You
Corona
hear me,
with lime.
Stan?
Yeah. Just waiting. Just waiting for it to all pass over. Really.
Anything taken
Basically,
away
all
from
my
this so far?
events for the next few months all canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all in that same boat, my friend. We're all in the same boat with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think I'm trying to keep it light too, and that's why you were saying before how I was very positive about everything too. Like, I keep trying to have jokes with people too, and I'm going live tonight with DJ Barr, John Simmons, and Rick Webb, and we're going live tonight to talk about stuff. And we were in a group
YouTube
chat.
Crew.
We were in a group chat text, and John Simmons was like, "Oh, how's everybody's Wednesday night look?" So I replied, I was like, "Oh, let me check the schedule or whatever." And then I replied like a second later. I was like, "Yep, I'm free." And like,
you have to make the best of it.
You got to, and because otherwise it's like, oh my gosh, like otherwise people chime right in. They're like, "Oh, I've got no jobs for blah blah blah," and then it becomes this whole. We're going in circles.
And
Everyone's
you know
in the
what?
same
I know
boat,
we were talking earlier about the mortgage and the kids and all that stuff, and but there is a serious thing for people who are more so in the retirement age that they were depending on their 401k and everything, and in a couple of nights they might have lost 30 to 40% of their entire portfolio that they have to retire on. So there's a serious detrimental thing that has happened to a lot of people's retirement, and that's just overall. So this is definitely going to. Do you guys think that this is going to affect the upcoming booking season, or because it could go one of the two ways? It could either be, oh my God, we have no money, or thank God I'm alive.
Let's throw a party.
Have a freaking party.
I think that's going to be the case.
One.
Yeah. I think that's going to be the case.
I think there's going to be a lot of block parties.
Yeah, I can see that.
I could see a lot of people getting together. A lot of people.
My block definitely won't have a block party because I went live from my porch the other day, so they all.
Yeah, I saw that, man. How was the reaction, by the way, from the?
So
that was cool.
I put up I'm in the East Northport Moms group because I live in East Northport and stuff. So I put up a post there earlier in the day, and it was a beautiful day. I was like, hey, just curious, is anyone planning on going out for a walk this afternoon? And I do the thing on Halloween, as you know,
yeah,
too.
Right.
So a lot of the people in the community know our house and stuff like that. So I put up in the group, I was like, hey, I've so-and-so from this corner, 2nd and 3rd. I was thinking about setting up my DJ stuff and spinning if you guys are going for a walk, just obviously make sure you stay 6 feet apart and don't congregate, just keep walking and the music will go on. I'll go live on Facebook too, that kind of thing. And the response was like incredible. 150 people liked it and people were commenting, like, awesome. Oh my God, this is awesome. Blah, blah,
and they're
blah.
all going to remember that.
Exactly. And so a lot of people, there were a lot of people walking by. A few of them stopped and I didn't have to say anything because they were actually all like 10 feet apart from each other, like dancing, which was kind of like awesome. But people were taking, videos and pictures and people loved it. The response was really good.
Listen, man, no matter what, there's going to be good stories And that's a good story. That's a great thing to do. And it's cool to see all the different DJs putting up videos, even though Zuckerberg decides to block half of them. You know,
That's insane.
you couldn't just let that go. I'm still waiting for
That's
Xtoro's live mix. I haven't heard that one. Or Stan.
that's
Mr. Stan.
that's what I hate
your
about
live mix,
live.
man.
He went
Anthony,
live.
when are you going live, buddy?
we'll see.
You guys should duel it out. See,
We'll see.
go by my Instagram name, MC Will, bro. I'm
Well,
a
listen
decent DJ, but I'm on the mic all the time, bro. That's
To
what
put this out there, and I always tend to see things or try and see things from the other side too. And everyone's blaming Zuckerberg because he found and owns Facebook, but this is not his fault at all.
Not at all.
Like he's
No.
following federal
It's not his fault at all.
It's a
regulations, you know,
federal,
Yes.
yeah, it's not his fault. It's
So-
just, again,
Copyright.
it's easier to blame
Yeah.
the icon. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
That's-
easy to blame whose face is on.
That's one of the
And
reasons
it's-
that I've been having such a hard time with YouTube and uploading all the gig logs, because obviously in a gig log, what's playing in the background?
Yeah.
You know?
Music.
So
right. Yeah. And
So what
I
I
can't
did,
monetize anything.
so what I did for my live, I was actually monitoring it very closely, which I think a lot of the guys haven't been doing. And I kept monitoring it, and I looked at my Facebook notifications, and I got some that said, "Oh, this part of your video is muted because Sony WMG or whatever, claimed 56 seconds of matching content, and they muted parts of the video." And so I was like, okay, let me just keep on going, see if it gets shut down. And it never got shut down. But towards the end, I got a notification saying, if you keep playing music you don't have the rights to, we're going to take your video offline.
Jeez.
And so I ended it right there.
I mean, listen.
Just so the video would stay
there's
online.
federal laws. There's all these different things and everything. So we're not going to get around all of it. You would think they would
Yeah.
hopefully, turn that feature off maybe for a little bit, just so that.
Or,
you know,
like-
Yeah.
Or there's a button that says, "Are you a DJ who's doing a live stream?"
yeah,
Okay, good. You have
Are you in the
Yes.
Long Island
Yeah,
DJs
that's
and
right.
MCs group? Oh, you're okay. You guys are fine.
Yes,
Don't-
you're
don't
good.
worry about it.
You're good.
So Stan, so what is so what's your plan for after this? Do you look at anything differently? Seeing that how quickly the event industry and a lot of industries can just go away. Like think about that. You had all these gigs booked, all
Mhm.
this income.
Yep.
In not even a week, it was all gone.
It just all.
all gone. I
That's
mean, all of it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's insane.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you
I'm
tell
definitely looking into the future, saying I should definitely put more money away. So once that income does come in, I won't fall flat on my face. That I don't lose a bunch of money and I have expenses to pay. You know what I mean?
Do you think
Yeah,
you'll
that's what I
follow
said.
through with it?
Yes,
Okay, I like that.
I think I'm gonna pull through.
Now, I just wanted to throw this out there as another way to look at it. But the way you were saying it, Will, was how you had all these gigs and all this income. I mean, by definition, income is money received that you
Yeah.
already got. So
Right.
it's just another way to look at it, and that's something that I've trained
That's
myself
true.
to look
You're
at
very
it that way
true.
too. Whereas I don't call what I have coming in the future income, because when you look at it that way, then it's very easy to try and go gig by gig and oh, well, I could spend everything in my bank now because I have all this income coming in. But when you look at it as, no, what's income is what's actually in my account right now.
So you don't consider a signed contract
Definitely
the
not.
deposit? You don't consider that?
The deposit amount is income. If you had
So you consider
an
a potential income?
whatever you have in your account, yes, that's
That's
income.
got it. Okay.
Because it's money you received. If you collected an $800 deposit, that's income. You pay income tax on it because when you collected
that's
it,
that's a
kind of
fair
thing.
way to look at it. You definitely are right. It
But the
definitely-
other 800, if say you collected half, the other 800 is not income until you actually receive
That's
that money.
true. That is
And the
that is
reason
very
I
true.
say that 800 is your income because most deposits are non-refundable. Yes, in these times and stuff, we're trying to be flexible with clients and whatever.
Yeah,
but
that's
most
been
of-
actually that's
in
a
most
great
cases
topic you
that's
just
not.
brought up
yeah.
now. Is what people are doing about. I haven't personally had anyone. It's been one way or the other. Either they're moving on and they're going ahead with or there are certain client that we have certain clients that we have revolving accounts with, so we don't take deposits. So they're just null and they're just done. So for me, I haven't had anyone call me and said, I want my money back or can I get a refund? Have you had that situation?
So I've only, and the other thing, in terms of like the way people use words in this situation, because I think it's very important, and I've been using it the same, so I'm trying to get myself out of it. But a lot of people are saying, "Oh my God, I had 20 jobs cancel," and the reality is, no, you probably had a few jobs cancel, or in your case, I know you've had a few more cancel, but most of them are getting postponed for
Right.
these DJs that are saying, "I had 20 weddings cancel," and it's like they all
Right.
just
They're
decided to not get
gonna
married.
They're just not getting married now.
Exactly.
I had
So,
I had a few cancellations, and most of them, a lot of them were, they got back to me and said, "Hey, we're gonna pick another date. We'll
Of
keep you
course they
posted."
are. I mean, if they're listen,
Yeah,
they're still gonna turn 16. They're still gonna get married.
exactly.
You know, they're still
Exactly.
gonna have, you know, and like the communions and stuff like that. That's probably just, you know, it might end up being a summer party in the
That's just
backyard
gonna
where
get
they get a
postponed.
DJ.
Yeah, that's just
Most
gonna
of
get
these things are gonna
postponed.
get postponed. The only things that aren't
Yeah,
gonna get postponed are things that are timely.
right. Well, we
yeah.
had I only had one event actually. Well, I have a second one that's canceled now too. But the one event that I really had that canceled was kind of before this whole thing started with like the 8 weeks with no events, whatever. Is at the very beginning, and we had a Purim event in Brooklyn, a huge event,
Yeah.
but that was canceled completely, and they were paid in full.
Oh
And
wait, I
what we
came into the
did,
office that day.
yes, yeah,
Put up a
exactly.
deposit for the
Yep.
stages.
Exactly. So instead, we just went on with our lives and got stuff done in the office. But you know, that was the only event I had that actually fully canceled, and we had to refund most of it. I refunded everything but the deposit, and I was honest with them.
Which
I
is
was like,
fair.
"Listen, I mean, you know, again, and that's fair.
And I
That's
had
what
a
you do."
similar
And
situation the week, actually, I did have a cancellation, I should say, the week after where they were paid in full.
mhm.
But they're a revolving, they do it every year. So they just said, can we just use that towards next year? And I
Right.
said, of course.
And listen, like I had a corporate event that I guess is canceled right now, but they're gonna throw other events.
Right.
And they called me and they said, "Hey, so obviously with what's going on in the band, because it was supposed to be March 21st, so it was right after they, you know, decided we couldn't have events, and they said obviously for the safety of everyone involved, we're canceling the event or whatever." And they came to me, they were paid in full, and they said, "Listen, like, is there any way?" That's literally the words they use. "Is there any way we could apply this balance towards a future event if we
Oh
choose to
man,
use you guys
my
again?"
favorite words.
I was
They're
like,
in your pocket. They're in
absolutely.
your hand.
I was like, no problem. I was like, we'll see you
I
at your next
also
event.
feel like corporate is just a lot easier to deal with in that scenario
Right.
than, you know, the mom and dad. Because you know what? In this situation, they probably could use that $300 deposit, honestly. That's groceries.
Mhm.
So it's difficult because it's also like, well, I have bills too. And you signed a contract. And I know people are going to say, well, is it legal? Is it not legal? I'm in the position where I haven't – everyone that's called me, they all start the same way. I'm sure you've gotten this call already.
Yep.
But, yes, we've gotten the call, and they're all like – I just tell them, let me know the new date, and we'll figure it out. Not your deposit. A couple of them were like, do I get my deposit? You know, is my deposit safe? I'm like, of course it's safe. You can use it for your – you know, whenever you decide to have the event, you know, of course it's guaranteed. We're not gonna steal your money.
And something else I've been saying to all my clients that have been rescheduling, and I think this is important, and it might not be something like some people might argue me and say like you're giving out too much information now, just keep it simple, whatever, and get their mind off of it. But I've been saying to every client that wants to reschedule, listen, like your deposit is always going to be good. It's like a credit in our bank account that we're going to apply towards a future event. But what I can't promise you is your contract amount. If you call me right now and you said, hey, this is getting postponed until next December, blah, 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 cool, we're on, same contracts, we're just changing the date and times. If you call me, say, hey, we're canceling this, or we got to pick a new date later on or whatever, right now your event's canceled. And if you decide to rebook, we'll apply that deposit.
Right.
But when you decide to rebook, the ball's in your court then, because if you decide to rebook in the fall or whatever, like our pricing might be different.
Exactly. You can't have a party on a Sunday night in March and then rebook for July 4th.
Right. And listen, like the pricing, I tell them too, because then some of them are like, oh, what do you mean? Like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, is your prices going to go up? I'm like, our prices could go up. They could go down because of this. I don't know where our pricing is going to be.
We don't know where the market is going to be. We're going to find the new market.
You could, whatever, God forbid you lose your job or whatever. Like, I don't say this to them, but like, God forbid they lose their job. They could then want to scale back their package and not get TVs or not get something like that too. So, you know, you don't know where it's going to be. So I found that as an important piece to
like
keep them involved too, and keep them in the loop as far as like, look, we're obviously going to apply the $800 you paid towards your next event, but your next event might not be 16. It might be 2,200 or it might be 15, you know, we don't know.
Right. And I've been seeing a lot of guys, actually, a couple of them in the different groups saying, this is going to drive the market massively down, as far as our market, not the stock market.
Right.
The stock market's up today. Thank God. But they, saying, it's going to drive the market really far down and all this stuff. I just don't see that, honestly.
Nope. And I think actually people are going to want to throw more parties than ever.
Well, that's the thing. And also,
definitely.
You've been on CuePoints and everything like that.
Yep.
Like Anthony and I think have said it from the beginning. You need $300 DJs because there's people who can't afford $800 DJs. It's just the facts. There's people that want to throw a backyard party for 30 people, and they want someone to show up with 2 speakers and a laptop and have a Budweiser because Uncle gave it to him. That's just gonna happen.
There's nothing you can do about it. You can't. You can't get rid of them.
But but what I'm saying though, Stan, is like you can't. It's not even getting rid of them. It's just that's just another market.
Right. No, 100%.
And I don't go after that market.
I
But
don't
there
either.
are people. Listen, if I didn't have the business, if I didn't have a job or anything, and someone said, "Hey, you could go book these gigs for people in this one town, and you could do 5 events a weekend at $300, and I could make $1,500 a week with no overhead," that's $6,000 a month.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
That's not too damn bad, man. It just
No.
goes by what a company could go from 200,000 to 500,000 and do amazing, but they can go from 500 to $1 million and fail quickly.
Yep.
It depends how your everything changes around you.
Brandon had a
but go ahead, Sam.
You had a quote that you posted on Facebook or Instagram a while ago that really made me look at things differently. I forget what it is. Like something about your reputation.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, just in terms of reputation, I think the one I put in the Inside RE video too is that it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 seconds to destroy one.
100%.
You can quickly do that. But to piggyback off what you were saying, Will, in terms of the money amount and not even just failing when you scale from 500,000 to $1 million, but I think people think the bigger your business is, the more money you're like walking away with. And that's
it's so wrong.
Business models.
Yeah, that's not true.
That can be true, but it's not in most cases. In most cases, the small DJ company that may be doing, like you said, $6,000 a month, you could be a huge production company and be doing $250,000 or $500,000 or whatever, and still be walking away with that same $6,000 a month.
100%.
And it just comes down to your business model. For me, I prefer that bigger company. Like I was just saying to my parents today, I was like, I feel so uncomfortable day to day right now because there's like, I just have so much time and I'm getting so much done.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be done by a set time. Like I am so much more comfortable in the chaos of like a day to day where I know I have so much more than I have time to do, but I know I got to figure it out somehow.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, again, it just comes down to, you need to know, you have to have a business plan. You want to know where you're going to be at. Like for me, I know there's a lot of event companies where their passion is the event company or whatever it is. I think that you and I, Brandon, share a different kind of ideology where we love the business. Like I thrive on the business. You could have made me a freaking locksmith and I would kill it. Well, I make locks on locks on locks.
Yep. I've had people say to me, they're like, what are you going to do if the event industry fails or the company fails, whatever? I'm like, start a new business. I don't that's me. I'm an entrepreneur.
To point it out, just so that people don't rip on us, but if they do end up watching this video that's over 60 minutes, I'm actually going to be really impressed with them. It's just so easy to talk about this. But again, if you and I today had to close up shop, we could start over and it would be terrible. It'd be horrible. All these years we put in, but we could restart and we could grow another business.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And I think that's also the problem is people, and Ant and I have talked about this too, is that it goes back to the ego thing. There is nothing wrong with being a number 2 or a number 3 or a number 4. Because if the wrong person is the number 1, there's not going to be a number 2 or 3 or number 4. You need to know your strengths.
And not everyone could be a number 1. It's not everyone's going to be an entrepreneur.
I'm a decent DJ, but I'm not Mixmaster Flex. So I don't go out here trying to promote myself that way. Mm-hmm. I'm a much better MC. So I'm an MC. However, again, my passion isn't to MC every party. I want to be in a position where I'm sending a good MC out with Ant, or Ant's with, MCing, and he has a good DJ with him. And I'm oversighting and talking to the clients and making sure everything's good on the back end. I like the back end. I like the analytics of the business. I like to make the business run and let the people do what they're good at.
And I talk about this all the time, and it's another Gary Vee thing too, but like I talk about the process. Like I love the process of the day to day and making things happen versus, like the success. Like I talk about this too. Like if someone handed me a Ferrari, I would not take it, to be honest. If someone handed me a house, I would not want it. That's just not me.
It's not your house then.
I like knowing that I worked for what I have, and I like the process. And I think our generation, unfortunately, I'm like classified in it, but I'm like, I don't associate myself.
Yeah, you're a Gen Z, bro.
Like, exactly. But like our generation is so like, they just have this overnight success, like overnight millionaire thing in their head. And I see people in this industry too, which is unfortunate, that are in this industry because they think they're going to be a millionaire.
Yeah, like, I know. It's such a fugazi, man. I mean, it really is.
And when you go into it with that mentality, guess what? Like, you're not going to be a millionaire. You're not going to be successful or whatever. Successful is being happy. So if you love what you do and you love the process, like I love owning a business. That's why I happen to love doing events and entertaining people as well. But if I had to open up a different business, I would still love what I do, you know?
Right. That's how I am. It's about the process.
It's about the process and loving what you do. And then if you do, success will come with it. The bank account will come.
It 100% will.
You know?
It 100% will. It's just, I don't understand the whole instant success thing. I don't know. I think it might be there's just too many Instagram models and whatnot. Like, do you realize how many people would no longer be famous if Instagram just shut down one day?
Oh my God, there's too many. Imagine if TikTok shut down.
Like an influencer. And listen,
TikTok is getting big.
Friends is one of the main Instagram not TikTok influencers. But that's not all he does. But there's people that just make funny videos and all of a sudden they're freaking millionaires.
Right. And that's the thing. That's the problem too, is there's a lot of people, like there's a lot of ways now to get rich quick. Yeah. If that's the route you want to go, there's very easy ways to get rich quick, but it's just owning your own business is not a way to do that, you know?
And you know what though, to get, and it's not even, I really feel like it's not even rich quick, because honestly, content creation is very difficult if you're good at it. I mean, you gotta make a lot, you know, these guys who are doing really well, you know, but it's so few compared to how many people are doing it, because they think it's going to be so quick. They stop. Mm-hmm. It's like podcasts. I think there's like however many podcasts, but it's only like 4% of podcasts get over like 1,000 views.
Well, that's a lot of people they love talking about putting in the work and talking about doing
it. They like to talk
until it comes down to actually doing it, and then they don't do it. And it's like same things with, you know, like I could put out these YouTube videos telling people to do this and showing how to do things, but 90% of the people that watch it aren't actually going to do it. And that's why like people are like, oh my gosh, like you're helping your competition by putting that video in the Long Island DJs group. I'm like, I don't give a crap. Like I'm not helping them, because guess what? 90% of them aren't going to do anything or take what I said seriously and do it. They're just going to go right back to Facebook and post and complain about not having work for the next 2 weeks. Or the next
agree
month,
at all.
You know?
And also as far as the whole competition thing goes, I don't know, man. I don't really look at it that like, as far as when people say, oh my God, you know, there's so much competition. You know what, though? There's also a crap ton of people. There are more people on this island there are in many countries.
Yep.
So you could have 40 DJ companies could be busy on a weekend, and guess what? No one noticed. If you're a legitimate company, you're not hurting for work. It's just
it comes down to the ego thing too, and because I had a Sweet 16 client that was referred to me through a family friend. We talked for a while, went back and forth or whatever. She went to a cheer competition and saw a DJ there. And one of the cheer moms, he's another DJ from Long Island that I actually know really well. And she came back to me and she's like, hey, I'm so sorry we haven't been in touch. We went to a cheer competition. I'll be honest with you. We saw this DJ. We really like the MC, blah, blah, blah. His name was so-and-so. And I like smiled because I know who it was. I know he does good work and everything like that. And she's like, you know, I think we might go with him just because my daughter saw him and whatever. But we still kind of want to sit down and meet with you, blah, blah, blah. So I reply to the email. I go, oh, that's great. Yes, I know him really well. Like we've worked together on events in the past. He does a great job. Like no worries if you want to book him, blah, blah, blah. And I left it at that. I was like, if you want to set up a meeting with me, let me know. I backed off. She emailed me back and she ended up booking us. But like, that was one of those things where I think if I came back and I was like, all of a sudden, like trying to be desperate.
Oh my
that
God.
work, and oh my gosh, you need to book us, and oh, I'll take $500. That's my favorite when people are like jump on the money thing too.
I'll take 500.
Yeah.
No, I'll take 600.
I was more expensive than
Instant
him.
discount.
Like I was more expensive than him, and
discount.
she came in. She's like, "Hey," she brought in his packages, and she was like, "Hey, here's like the. It's almost identical in terms of what we're getting, but you're X amount more." And I was like, "I'm sorry, like that's like no problem. If you want to save the few $100, go with him." And they ended up booking us for the few $100
And
more.
why is that, Anthony? Why is that?
Because it's the value.
You don't ever put down another company to a client. I don't care what kind of company you are. You look so bad when you do that. Whenever, I don't care what company it is, unless they're coming at me and telling me they had a problem, then I'll be like, I don't know, you know. You don't ever put a company down because it makes you look so much worse than they could ever look. And that is 1,000,000%.
And that and the brand too. It's about building up the brand too, because like they've never seen us perform, but she's friends with me on Facebook and she sees everything we post and she sees the stuff we do and you know that kind of stuff. And it comes down to the brand too. That then the brand is almost like proving itself in a way to them, whereas they don't have to go see us perform because they know the brand and they recognize the brand, which
people
is cool.
Get so awkward too when you do that, when they're expecting you to like come back at them and like discount them or something. And I go, listen, no problem at all. We're here though. You know, if we still have the date available, we'd love to help you out.
Yep.
Well, that's what I wanted to say.
Say it, Ant. Go.
Is that yeah? I've been kind of quiet.
I know both of you chime in.
I've been kind of quiet, but
Mike Hogs.
I think the fact that you weren't in a rush to jump on it and you know, take money off or whatever, it showed her that you know you don't need to chase anything. You have value, and you know if she wants to book it, you'll be there with her every step of the way. You know.
Well, speaking of, you know, not needing to chase things, and I kind of circle back to what we were talking about before too, about how I don't worry about like my day. I'm not worried about my bank account tomorrow. I'm not working like, because for me, if she went and booked with that other guy and then she wasn't happy and then her daughter gets married, she'll come call me, you know, like that kind of thing. So it's more about the future and that positive, like you said, just not bashing other companies and stuff like that. It's more about keeping that brand image now that could benefit me in the long run than worrying about getting every day-to-day thing. And I think this comes back to even the savings thing too, because if you have that savings and you're not desperate on that gig to gig money, you're more likely to think that way.
Right.
Whereas if you're desperate and you need that money to pay your rent, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'll take $200 off because I really need this job, like that kind of thing. And I think it all ties together.
When you're running a legitimate
your business, you know,
you cannot think, you know, month to month, you know, you need to be like the Chinese. The Chinese, they don't make a 1-year plan. They make a 100-year plan. Oh, look
Trump is with us.
Well, look who finally showed up. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? How many phone calls do I get?
It is.
Trump.
I took a nap.
Wait, you're Trump? How did you make that name? Okay, listen.
I just typed it in.
This is going to be the most fantastic podcast you've ever been on. Believe me. Anyway.
Are people watching this?
No, so because I was saying that before, and that's why I called you. You didn't
Stan
answer.
Is here.
Yeah,
Hi, Brett.
Stan's here. So what I'm thinking is, I want to maybe do this.
And Brandon is here.
Yes. Shut up and listen.
I just downloaded the app. This is great. Wait, and Anthony is here.
You're getting a second mic if you're not listening to me. Now I have 2 microphones.
Is that everybody?
Yeah.
Yes, we have 5 people at the moment. What I was trying to say is I'm thinking that maybe for a remainder of this Corona craziness, maybe that's what I'll call this, I'm going to get the webinar experience so we could actually go live and we could actually have up to 100 people. I have my trucks behind me, bro. Look at my trucks.
That's funny.
Anyway, so we could get all the DJs up in here. We could have a big round table about who has the bigger microphone, you know?
Mr. RE20 over here.
Hey, man, it's the best mic for the business.
It's a good mic. It's a very good microphone.
It's my favorite microphone.
Yeah.
You see my
But,
name,
all
Will?
It's like
Brett,
the
Brett
standard.
decided to come in and just like obliterate the seriousness of the conversation. But
I'm sorry. This is
so,
like
Brett, I want to
overwhelming
catch
for
you
me.
up to speed. Okay, you're in a very interesting situation. I know you just got a new house. Which
Yeah.
stop with the virtuals for a minute. I'm trying to help you here.
Sorry.
Tell
Are you in
me
TJ Maxx?
what's your experience so far. I know it's been rough.
Wait, can I?
I hate you so much right now. Oh,
Trump.
now he's gone again. Now he's gone.
There we go.
All right, are you good now? Are we
Yeah,
done?
sorry.
For a guy having to make a mortgage payment, you're not paying attention.
I don't care anymore.
So there you go. That kind of sums up how Brett is feeling about all this.
Yes.
So can you tell me one thing, Brett, that you think you might come out with as a positive thing that you've thought about, or something that you think might elevate your business to a new level by implementing this new skill, or something that you might have picked? Where are you going? I hate you so much.
I'm on my phone. This is like so difficult right now.
You said you were going to get your laptop.
Yeah, I forgot to charge you. I said I fell asleep.
Oh my God. Corona,
Oh my
bro.
God.
This is what Corona
Killing
does
me.
to successful
Corona's
business.
screwing everybody up.
This is what
I'm
it
back.
does. What's something you're
I
taking
think
away
I
from
slept
this
like
Corona?
3 hours in the past 10 days.
Tell me what you've taken away from the coronavirus so far that you could use to implement into your business that maybe will help you in case this ever happens again.
I was gonna just say, get a different job.
Would you? So no, that's a serious question though. In an aspect like this, would this maybe have you wanting to go back to have employment from someone else?
No, but who knows what the next few months have in store. If this goes all the way into like July or August, it's a different story than it going to like May or June.
Would you be
Right now,
Would you
I
be
know that the
against
rest of
getting a job in the meantime?
I'm sorry.
Would you be against getting a job in the meantime?
I have limited physical ability
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
due to injury, so my ability to get a job is limited. Plus, as a business owner, I don't know if you've tried to apply places. People just know that, and they think you're just going to go back to your job in like 2 or
When
3
it's
months.
temporary.
No one wants
Yeah.
to deal
Yeah.
with you.
That's definitely
people.
something I could say is, yeah, it's kind of like a kid applying for a summer job before he goes back to college. They're going to spend all this time training you, and then you're going to be gone in 2 months.
When you work for yourself for so long, it's like when you want to work for somebody else, it's weird.
I don't know if I caught you up or not on this, but I don't remember if I did or not. But so I actually went back to work on Friday for the first time in over 5 years at a TV station I used to work at. I got a call, and they were like, "Listen, we need a director for the morning shows. Do you want it?" And a really, really, really big part of me wants to say no. A big part of me wants to say no. I worked way too
What's going on
hard.
over there?
I am trying to say something so serious, and this.
I'm so sorry. It's like
I literally, bro, piss yourself. Like I hate you right now. Like Anthony, I'm gonna murder him. Don't ever.
But my dog is killing me right now. I'm sorry. I'm just walking.
Yo, this was such a good conversation before this.
I'm walking into my office. I could put my phone down. All right.
Brandon's left the chat. That's how bad this is.
I still
left
see
the
it.
chat.
No,
I'm
not
still
no,
here.
not no, like mentally.
Oh, mentally, yeah, I checked out a while ago.
I thought he was.
I've got
he was
Photoshop
tracking
to
it
learn.
from
Sorry,
his
guys.
feed, but
Exactly. He's turning to learn a new Photoshop skill. Leave him alone. Anyway, Mr. Brett.
yes, I'm in my office now, so this is better.
Can't stand him, Anthony.
Cool.
Anthony,
No,
I
much
hate him
better.
so much right now. I'm literally gonna go egg your house after this.
Looks to me like you're still in aisle 7. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, where are you?
He's riding the wave.
I'm going back to my warehouse.
The phone it needs a stand. I'm so sorry.
I'm in my warehouse now because of you. This was such a serious conversation before you.
Don't these podcasts time out? Like, isn't it time up?
I know, right?
All right.
All right. Anyway, all right. I'm setting a timer. So it's 3:41. We've got 4 minutes. I want to give each of you a minute, starting with Anthony. You have the floor.
Oh my, I have the floor.
Yep.
I
I want you to recap what you thought
actually-
of this, what you want to do, and anything else you want to say.
I actually want to use my time to bounce back off of you, because before we started this, you had a very specific agenda as to what you wanted to talk about.
Oh, that
So-
went right out the window.
Do you think we covered what you want to talk about as far
No,
as
not even remotely.
businesses and
Not even
how
like a
they're?
little bit. I didn't
No.
go off. No, I think that has to be a segment next time.
We'll have to say
where I'm
that for
gonna
another time.
Where I'm gonna say all these things, and then Brandon's gonna be like, "All right, calm down." So yeah,
All
no,
right,
that'll
but
be for episode 2 next week.
okay, but yeah, I think we got to talk about a lot of good stuff. We should all definitely use this time wisely to better ourselves, our brands, our businesses, to learn how to use Zoom, Brett. And
Dude, Brett's chair is literally spinning. I want to kill him.
So sorry.
And, yeah, that's pretty much it.
You told me we weren't being recorded.
How about you, Stan?
What I've been doing during this time is I've been working on my music library a lot more, and I've also been working on a lot of my gear, like making sure it's up to spec. Because most of the time, I don't have a lot of time to fix all my gear. Like if something happens, I don't have time to fix it, or clean it out or whatever. So I've been taking stuff apart, cleaning it out, making sure it's all top notch for once all these jobs start coming back in, and once I start to get back on the road.
Hey, Brett, I know you've been here for 3 minutes and been disrupted this entire time, but what do you think about having an episode 2?
I'm sorry?
What do you think about having an episode 2?
I thought this was episode 2.
This is one.
This is episode 1.
We should do it.
Man.
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
I'm also not opposed to an episode 2.
Okay. Hey,
Brett's
got
like,
my- I got-
Brett's like,
final
let's shoot it
thoughts.
right now.
Brandon,
Episode-
final thoughts, please.
Episode 2. Who's got the biggest microphone?
I got my MacBook microphone.
Well,
got this
I mean, although we got probably off the topic you planned on being, I feel like we talked about a lot of good stuff.
I think we did, and I
I'm
think
sorry.
having more people involved in the conversation would definitely help.
Yeah, I
And,
agree.
Sorry, I missed the beginning of it.
No, you missed all of it.
Yeah.
No,
Thanks for that.
it's okay.
All right, so that concludes this episode, and we will be back.